Out of my way! Can't you see he's gonna—
Cancel me. It's either him or me, motherfuckers.
So, you like
ultimatum,
do ya? Well, we'll show you, old man! There he is! Go get him!
Hello everybody, J2D here, and I just wanted to make a small video, give you my 2 cents about the whole Niel Young, Joerogan ultimatum situation. So, it seems when you make an ultimatum, people choose. So it says here that, he has like 6 million monthly listeners, but let's really be honest, that's nothing compared to what Joerogan brings in. It is what it is. I mean, I just think that Niel Young is probably suffering from a little dementia, probably, his brain is just out of loop. I mean, he is an old fart, so, it is what it is. And he's not as prevalent as maybe he wants to be. Maybe he did this for attention. Maybe he did this for fame. Who knows? But all jokes aside, I just think this is dumb. I don't even think Niel Young even listens to the Joerogan podcast. Sorry. I don't even think Niel Young listens to the Joerogan podcast even. Probably doesn't even know what he says or even has an idea of what's going on. And I'm sorry. I don't think that Spotify is going to give up their $100+ million investment for fucking Niel Young, of all people. Now, if it was a bunch of big artists like Drake, Post Malone, Rihanna, Beyonce coming together and saying we're going to leave unless you take Joerogan out, and they are worth more than $100 million or make them worth more than $100 million of their investment, then that might hit a dent where it's like, okay, now we really do have to pick this ultimatum. But an artist that hasn't made a hit in how many years, And it's just, I find it really interesting, right? Because this man is trying to censor Joerogan. And this is the same man who, sang during the hippie era to talk about, let's change something. The hippies were counterculture, right? They were against the war. They were against all these things. So imagine if he had people, in his little circle, his peers, doing the same exact thing to him. Imagine if they had actors and singers and performers saying that any venue that Niel Young goes to, we're not going to unless you ban him. He needs to be banned and he needs to be dealt with. Now, I just think that it's a lot of misinformation for Mr. Niel here. Probably has a lot of people in his ear telling him what to do, telling him what is being said instead of actually looking at it by himself. Because, I listen to the Joerogan podcast, right? I mean, Joerogan basically made me get another Spotify account. I mean, I had it before. I kind of disengaged from it. And then when they were like, Joerogan's going to be on Spotify, no commercials, no nothing, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to resubscribe. But, I just think this is just dumb and petty. And this is not showing anything. If anything, it makes Niel Young look like an idiot. Of course, you got people on Twitter agreeing with him, saying, like, yes, he needs to be stopped. I mean, what? The other day, you had 270 doctors saying that we need to take Joerogan off. I'm sorry. Like, he's not a person that you can cancel at this point, right? Like, you're not going to Alex Jones him. And he's not even as, crazy as Alex Jones. I don't know what... I would like them to point something that he's spreading misinformation, or at least telling people, because people spread misinformation all the time, right? And I would just like to know, what in specific is he telling people to go out and do, right? I don't think anything he said is really crazy. Now, if you disagree with me, always hit me up on the comments. I try to engage with the audience if they would like. I like engaging with audience or engaging with people. But if you disagree, you can always just tell me, right? Or tell me what he said that was out of pocket. But saying hey, I already got the disease, or I already got the coof, and I probably have better antibodies than somebody who even has the vaccination, where's the lie there, right? If ivermectin, right? I'm probably mispronouncing that. But if ivermectin is helpful, right? The dewormer is helpful and it helps people and it has shown that a lot of people have used it. Where's the misinformation? Is it because it's going against the status quo? Now, listen, I'm a leftist myself. I'm not a far leftist, but I am a leftist. I have a lot of left-leaning policies. right? Social issues, I'm kind of moderate, but that's besides the point. Because with this, I just see a lot of my peers hating on Joe Rogan just because he has conservatives on, just because he goes against the grain sometimes, but it's his own opinion. It's his own opinion, right? His own opinion how to live life. I mean, as I said, people hate and they kind of go into this herd mentality just so they can hate together because they're like, yeah, we're in this big circle and we're all just hating. But, I have asked people in my circle that don't like him, why don't you like him? And they can't really say why. They would say, oh, he's racist. Oh, can you show me why he's racist? Oh, he's sexist. Can you show me where he's sexist? And it's just like, oh, I don't know. Like, they said it this. And it's just like, no, stop with the he said, she said bullshit. Come on, let's actually, like, for example, it's like, if you say you don't like Hitler, it's like, why you don't like Hitler? Well, he killed all the Jews. He did this. He was this. He was that. You have information. You have things that you can show why you dislike a person, right? And, it could be valid. But if you're just disliking a person just because you don't agree with them, I think that's just really stupid. And I think that's just really bad, right? And this whole censorship shit, it's ridiculous. Like, you beat a bad idea with a good idea. I mean, listen, there are multitudes of doctors that can come on and prove Joe Rogan wrong. I mean, what was it? I think it was about a week ago. He got proven wrong about like the vaccination causing something in a certain age group, and he's like, yeah, I'm glad I got proven wrong. And that's the thing. A lot of people think one way, right? And sometimes you need someone who's an expert to come in and tell them otherwise. But he had Gupta on, and he destroyed that man. And he's supposed to be CNN's doctor. He's supposed to be on top of everything, and he was just obliterated. So you can't tell me that, Joe Rogan is spreading this and spreading that. If he was just saying stuff and then try to get these experts to come in and talk with, then I could say, okay, he's kind of living in his own bubble. He's living his own thing. And I'm sorry. I keep just moving stuff because I don't want y'all to be bored. But y'all do get to listen to my lovely voice, though. But I digress. It's just not right? Like, you shouldn't have to censor anybody. I don't even agree with, like, censoring Alex Jones or Donald Trump, even though, they've said wild things and they've been contributed to causing things, right? I just think that people really just need to look inside and see what's going on. But in the scheme of things, of course, Spotify was going to pick Joe Rogan. A big investment. And I'm sorry, Niel Young, you old fart. You're not going to do shit. I know you try to probably go down swinging, but you're swinging on nothing. You just missed. You hit air. Listen, you was trying to hit. Your opponent was relevancy. And you was fucking missing. Relevancy was moving, ducking and diving, doing the Philly shuffle like Floyd motherfucking Mayweather. And you were missing. Right? And you couldn't hit the mark. If anything, you look like a total dick now. You look like a whole chode. Right? And I just would just like to ask, like, is it worth it? But I read something here as well. He was saying that he's getting off. So they were saying he's willing to give up 60% of his streaming, right? Or, 60% of his streaming of his music to his listeners, right? And he's like, hey, go to Apple Music, go to Amazon Music, and go to Kyobas? Because last time I checked, Q is a chicken letter and needs a U to be a word. But, I guess, let them live. But yeah, I just wanted to make a short video just talking about this, just kind of giving my 2 cents. Again, it's hypocrisy on both sides. I kind of just getting back into it a little bit because in my field, or at least what I'm learning in college, I go everywhere. I have people on the left, people on the right, radicals everywhere, right? Like, I have radical left, right? Because I do live in New York, and I do have radical right as well, and it's like you hear bitching and complaining from both sides, right? You have one side saying that, oh, he goes hard on the conservatives. You have the other side saying, and again, it's not all of them, but you have the other side saying, and it's not all of them for both sides. You have the other side saying, the left side saying, like, oh, how could he have conservatives on and on? It's just like, this is what happens when you are open to different ideas, which people should be. You shouldn't live in this bubble, because when you live in a bubble, you legit have cult-like mindset, right? Like, for example, vote red no matter what, vote blue no matter what. Like, no, what about policies? What about the actual policies that people are bringing? Screw what color they are, screw what demographic they're playing to, screw the fucking social politics. Let's talk about policy, because that's what we need in America, is policies to help the people. But people don't care about that. A lot of people don't even care about politics. They kind of care about the social thing. They're just like, oh, it's either about race, it's either not fair, it's either this, it's either that. But that's besides the point. But just kind of my closing statements, you know, I think Joe Rogan should be allowed to speak. If he wants to give his opinion, he can. And he's not shy from inviting anybody to come over. And Niel Young, you old fart. Hey, man, I hope you do good on your thing. And I hope you have a good life. I mean, as I said, like, you know. Actually, let's take one little look of something. I want to see his net worth. $65 million. And look, he's still earning. He will be just fine. He could like legit sit in his chair and beat his meat for the rest of his life. He will be great. He doesn't need to do anything. He will be all right. So, you know, just kind of closing statements. It's stupid. You shouldn't be trying to censor anybody. And as a person who was around during the hippie movement, it just seems very hypocritical. Again, if you disagree, you can always hit me up in the comments. But I do thank you for stopping by and listening to my take. So, J2D is out. And have a great day, guys.
They see me on the road, wanna slow me down, but they will never know how I got this one thing. They will only hope that I'm falling out. They say it on the low, on the mountain nothing. Is that how you feel when you're all alone? When chilling at the crib and you're on the phone? It is what it is, man, truth be told. They say it on the low, on the mountain nothing. I like them girls.